Welcome to the Travis Masterbone podcast. I am your host, Travis Masterbone, talking some shit to impact your life. This is episode 17, titled Claude Bristol and the Magic of Believing. So Claude Bristol was a lawyer, lecturer, investment banker. He wrote the book TNT, The Power Within, and he also wrote the book The Magic of Believing. Born in 1891, he passed away in 1951, so he is an old timer, but he's an old school motivational author, I guess. I don't see anything of him. I mean, a lecturer, speaker, I guess. So he's one of the godfathers, like Jim Rohn, in the motivational speaking realm, and inspirational lecturers and authors. And I stumbled upon him because I went down the rabbit hole with Jim Rohn and Earl Nightingale, during the time earlier this year when I was kind of going through some rough patches in my life. And so today's episode, I just kind of wanted to touch base on how I have been reacting to this video on YouTube of Mr. Bristol. The YouTube link will be in the description, and the page is called Timeless Knowledge. And Timeless Knowledge has a lot of audios and videos of motivational individuals, talking their shit, trying to inspire and motivate individuals such as myself. So, of course, I subscribed. And so today I wanted to just kind of ramble and rant. There's really no notes. This is off the cuff, and talk about, how I've been utilizing this video specifically, pull away some of the main themes and concepts and just kind of connect it with how I have been, as far back as high school, been a big advocate of visualizing to materialize. And we can, use this synonymously with the magic of believing. And so, for as far back as, I would say maybe my freshman or sophomore year of high school, we've all heard of The Secret, right? The law of attraction. And I think there's two ways to kind of look at this. There is the, foo-foo screwball way of visualizing, and hopefully everything just comes in your way, the way that you picture it in your head. But then there's also, we need to visualize like an architect and actually take actions and steps that move towards this visualization. And that's kind of the boat that I ride in more than anything. And I think deep down, every individual has some type of level of visualization and a certain level of action towards that. And, I've been doing the dream board thing. That's where you grab a big cardboard and just put a bunch of pictures and visuals and words that, you aim towards and try to achieve. So I have a house and car and a microphone that represent the podcast, and money and a boat, right? You put these things on a cardboard and you look at it every day, and it reminds you that this is what you want to achieve. I am totally on board with this, and so is Mr. Bristol. Mr. Bristol, he says the word magic and mystical, right? And I like these words because I don't think deep down we as humans have the full capacity to understand life to its fullest extent. And I could be wrong about that, but that's just where I'm at right now in this point in time, that I just don't think I'm naive enough to think that I could truly understand the world fully. There's always going to be something I don't know. The more that I learn, the more I learn that I don't know. And so words like magic and mystical, in a sense, I think they're appropriate. There's something intangible and just not understandable when things just happen to occur. You think it's fate or you think it's coincidence, determinism or free will. We don't have to get too philosophical on all that today. But there is something magical about especially about visualization, especially when I really look back at my previous dream boards that I put together when I was living in a studio garage in someone's house, when I was living with cockroaches and bed bugs. I always stayed positive and optimistic. And I always hope that people can somehow, some way dig deep down their core and stay positive and optimistic towards the future. Time will pass, and things don't just snap and change in an instant. It takes work. It takes effort. But you have to have the images in your head. And so the dream boards, in that sense, when I look back, there's a lot of things that I really did accomplish that were always on those dream boards, whether, my degrees, certifications, and where I am actually today even. You can use this both in a beneficial manner or a negative one, which Mr. Bristol gets into when he talks about Hitler. So where you aim your beliefs, you have to be very specific and consistent. And for me, I remember even when I was married, I did visualize a lot about me being single again and being divorced, whatever it may be in the ethos. It just kept popping in my head, and sure enough, here I am. And then the idea of just having my garage as my studio and my workplace for my profession as an exercise therapist and personal trainer and strength and conditioning coach. Like, I just had all these images in my head, and sure enough, here we are. And then it comes to, the exact amount of money that you want. I have a big number in mind, and I'm not quite there yet, but it's a process. It comes to relationships, being married again with someone who loves me, truly loves and adores me, and I love and adore her. Kids, travel, and then all the toys that come with it, right? These are the things that, most people, they could say it's materialistic. Well, shit, all we got is this material world right now, and then how do we tap into the spiritual side? It's insane. I visualized heavily earlier this year, like, man, I need to, do some psychedelics again and kind of jump out of my reality a little bit and come down to earth. And sure enough, the way events fold, I end up being presented with the opportunity, and I just take it. I take it with confidence and faith, and it ends up being a glorious outcome. And it's just been like that. And I'm not naive enough to say that things can't change in the opposite direction at the drop of a hat. I could get in a car accident today. I can die, have a heart attack in 2 seconds, So I don't know the future, but much like my recent episode when it comes to patterns and Ray Dalio, we do our best with what we have. And I might as well shoot for it. You can call me a screwball all you want, but I just don't really see the harm in positively visualizing what you want. And then I truly do believe that this is a requirement for you to actually attain such high goals. You need to have it in your head, and then putting together an actual comprehensive step-by-step plan, actionable steps and items that you need to achieve such goals. And so something kooky that I usually do, I'm just going to go through some of the stuff that I do that are actually part of Bristol's Magic of Believing book, looking in the mirror and saying your mantras and telling yourself that you are going to get what you want. Reminders, right? He uses a note card example, like all right, I want $50 million by the age of 45. So write 50M45 on a note card, and then put them in the places around your house where you're there the most, where you see it. You're always constantly reminded of what you're trying to achieve. So I do that. Reminders, dream board, the mirror effect. He mentions that all great speakers and Hitler, they use the mirror, and orators, they use mirrors to really see how they deliver it. And there's just something impactful and powerful about looking into your own eyes and confidently saying what you want to say and how you want to say it. and then it manifests into reality. So far, it's been like that for me. I don't know if it's been like that for you. Maybe it has, even if everything is negative in your life right now. Maybe you have been using some of these techniques in a subconscious way, but not to your benefit. So maybe becoming more conscious of it. Another thing I do, I journal. I journal a lot in the morning, in the evening before I go to bed. I write out a lot of stuff, a gratitude list. I think a gratitude list is very important. It really puts everything into perspective on where you are in the present. All we have is the present. So to remind yourself what you're grateful for. I'm grateful for my family. I'm grateful for my friends, my clients, my mental and physical health. Grateful to have a dad that took care of me and loved me. Grateful for the roof over my head, the food in my fridge, right? Living in America. These things, I write it out. And it just helps me put into perspective that everything is not only going good, it's going great. My life is great right now. And I encourage you to give it a shot. I'll also, if I have, I took care of my day's work and I have a little space, a little time to kill. I like going to bars and just kind of setting up shop, bringing my journal, bringing my computer, go over things that I need to do in regards to finances, but then actually vividly writing out goals as detailed as possible and putting together real actionable plans and items that slowly but surely get me towards those goals. And they're big goals too, but I always write them out, type them out, organize it. I got a ton of journals, so journaling is a big, big thing. So with the dream board, reminders, the mirror effect, journaling, and then mantras. Mr. Bristol gets really big and deep into mantras and how, from the most primitive and most advanced civilizations throughout our time, there's always some type of mantras and faith that you keep repeating these mantras, they're going to come into your reality. And so my mantras, I usually do them when I'm in the shower. Cold shower in the morning, I'll say it out loud to myself. And then hot shower before I go to bed, I'll say them out loud. Same thing. Gratitude lists, goals, what exactly I want to accomplish. And, something about these routines just really, really help me focus, hone in, and it makes me a better person, in my opinion. Again, episode 3, Atomic Habits. It's a part of it. I might have repeated a lot of stuff here today. But overall, I don't really look at it as quacky. I look at it as a prerequisite in order to truly obtain the things that you want to obtain in life. And again, it could be used in a negative way, positive way, intentionally or unintentionally. So how I have been blessed with this consciousness, to be conscious of what I'm doing. I'm not entirely sure if everyone has this same level of consciousness when it comes to actually purposely visualizing and trying to obtain goals. I'm sure a lot of people are in the gutter. And that's the other thing I wanted to talk about is there are people in the gutter, and people like Bristol seems genuine in trying to help these people. And it's almost like spaghetti on the wall. You're not going to get every, string of spaghetti on the wall, but let's just throw as much as we can. Who knows who we will impact? It's a big reason why I'm doing the podcast too. Who knows who I will impact with my substance and my voice and delivery? And who knows where that will go? The most famous and impactful people in life had to have taken that first step before they walked up and climbed up all the way to the skyscrapers of, where they were or where they are in regards to impact on the world. So why not go for it? We've all had that stony baloney hippie conversation of the probabilities of us even being here. It's insane to think about. So I'm not really leaning towards coincidence. There's something about it that's purposeful, something mystical, right? And I just can't quite put my finger on it. And I try. And I'm sure philosophers throughout our time have really hit roadblocks when it comes to life and the meaning of life and their lives. But for the most part, I'm pretty optimistic. A good blend of realistic and optimistic. And it's just been panning out quite well thus far. Definitely not perfect. This is literally New Year's Eve that I'm recording this. It's been one hell of a year. 2023 will not be forgotten in my mind for life. And one day I will write a book, and this will be a big part of it. Just a lot of revelations and self-improvement. And this video of Mr. Bristol and Timeless Knowledge posting it has really helped me out a lot. I must have listened to this video clip at least 100 times and bought the audiobook, listened to the majority of it in my Audible. And, there are some things within it. I'm going to be critical as well, not just completely hop on the jock of this video and these principles, but he'll use some examples like, if you just throw a rock at a tree and you visualize that you're going to hit it, one day you will, and then you'll hit it 100% of the time. It's you don't know for sure that someone's going to be able to throw a rock and hit a tree at a certain distance exactly on the money. But when it comes to major league pitchers, they have to visualize themselves throwing curveballs and fastballs right down the middle over and over again at a certain speed, at a certain rate, and with a certain amount of effort. And the actual action does not exist without the initial thought. So in that sense, in a practical manner, we do need to take multiple shots. We do have to throw multiple pitches and visualize for it to actually occur. But I just don't think if you just pick up a stone, go out to the lake, and just within the next 15 minutes start hitting it perfectly over and over again at a certain distance. I mean, there's levels to it. There's relativity and whatnot. I'm also critical that there are people that take advantage of these visualization motivational concepts. There are scammers out there. And maybe that's what really turns people away from, these principles and concepts like the law of attraction and the secret, because there are scammers. It's look, you do this and that, you will get all of this. Now pay me. And it's okay. You can sense when something is a little disingenuous, scammy. And so you can always stay on your toes with that. But there is something deeper. And, when it comes to religion, the base of it is faith. And so I'll use that word, even though for me, I'm not really hugging Bibles. I'm sorry, Aunt Kim, don't be disappointed in me. But for the most part, there is some level of faith. I am not an atheist or a nihilist by any stretch of the imagination. And I think these, visualization principles, they are really backed by just having faith that things will pan out the way that they are intended through your mind. And so other than that, I've ranted long enough here. We're 18 minutes, 30 seconds in. I'm not entirely sure if this has been inspirational or motivational, giving you a little bit of my feedback on Mr. Claude Bristol and his book, The Magic of Believing. I highly encourage the book. I will link the Timeless Knowledge YouTube video audio so you can listen to it yourself. I'm not entirely sure if he's the one speaking. I don't think he is, but whoever it is, it's a great listen in regards to voice and delivery as well. Listening to it before you go to bed, it really does set me off into my dreams. And when I wake in the morning, sometimes walking and listening to it really does motivate me. So hopefully it does the same for you. And, you want to take the steps that I've taken, make a dream board, do your journaling daily, do your mantras, feel a little screwball-ish, look in the mirror, tell yourself that you're going to do it, that it's possible, and just be as clear and precise as you possibly can when it comes to your goals and your objectives. And then just honestly reach for it and don't give a fuck about what other people think. The probabilities of you being here, we already know they are outlandish. So why not just go for it? Go try to be something great. I will never drag someone else down to pick myself back up. I encourage people to reach into their creative outlets, much like how I have with my music and my podcasts. But then also your grind. If you're just grinding away at your job and you're trying to hit a certain age and get retirement, pension, whatever, I encourage you to just keep bucking and keep getting through it and just stay optimistic. We know the bad things are going to happen in life, and who knows if they're just right around the corner or not. But, we have to challenge ourselves and push ourselves and put ourselves through hard times almost purposely. So that way, when the hard times do come, we have some type of confidence and faith that we can get through it. And so that's me and my rants about Mr. Bristol. So as always, thank you for tuning in to my podcast, the Travis Masterbone Podcast. And I look forward to you tuning in next time. Oh, like, share, subscribe, all that shit. Thank you.